This week, Microsoft patches cause Active Directory domain controllers to go loopy, Windows Layer 2 tunneling protocol or VPNs to stop connecting, and Hyper-V server to stop working. Plus, Norton antivirus gets a crypto mining feature, and apparently Zero Trust really does improve security. So let's start with the Windows update story. So of course, this week we had the second Tuesday of the month, which is better known as Patch Tuesday. Now, as usual, Microsoft issued cumulative updates for Windows 10, Windows 11, and Windows Server. Now, let's start with the Windows Server updates because they've been causing quite a lot of problems. Some administrators have been reporting that their domain controllers are stuck in a continuous reboot cycle, but there have been some other issues with Windows Server as well. One of the problems is that administrators are no longer able to access disk volumes formatted with the REFS file system. And Hyper-V Server has stopped working, although this mainly affects Windows Server 2012 R2. There have been reports, unconfirmed by Microsoft at this stage, that this is also affecting other versions of Windows Server. So if you rely on Hyper-V, that service is not starting. Now, the only way to solve all of these problems, unfortunately, is to roll back the updates that were released this Tuesday. But it doesn't end there for fun in the IT department this week, because there have also been some problems with VPNs on Windows 10 and Windows 11. So if you're using the built-in Layer 2 tunneling protocol client in Windows, users are now no longer able to make a connection. And this is also affecting connecting to firewalls by Cisco, SonicWall and WatchGuard. So if you're using any of those VPN devices, again, the only way to solve this problem at the moment is to roll back those updates that went out this Tuesday. Now, of course, this really highlights the importance of having to test patches thoroughly in your environment with a small group of users before you roll them out more widely, because the consequences of installing these patches at the moment might be quite significant, depending, of course, on what features you depend on in Windows and Windows Server. So moving on, there are some new features announced this week in Microsoft Teams for frontline workers. So iOS now gets the walkie-talkie feature, so that had been available for Teams on Android for quite some time. There's a new feature in Microsoft Endpoint Management that allows administrators to locate lost devices that are running Teams by sending an audio notification to them. There's a new scheduled queuing feature for virtual appointments in Teams, which lets frontline workers check for missed appointments, wait times, and staffing delays. And there are new Workday and Espressive partner integrations with the Viva Connections app for Microsoft Teams. And these features will allow frontline workers to access different resources and tools more easily, for example, HR management and payroll. And Microsoft has announced the availability of trusted launch support for Azure Virtual Desktop. Now, this basically provides all of those good security features that you get with a physical device, things like secure boot to stop rootkits and hypervisor code integrity, Windows Defender credential guard, and feature update support when you're running Windows 11 Enterprise or Enterprise Multi-Session. These features are now available for Azure Virtual Desktops for Windows and for Linux, and it does require you to create a new VM, so these features are not available for existing virtual machines. One rather strange story that we picked up this week is that Norton 360 antivirus has now added a crypto mining feature, although Norton said that it's optional in this antivirus suite. Now, Norton's justification for this is that people are often downloading dubious crypto mining applications and installing them on their PCs, but Norton says, well, it's much safer if you just use ours. Now, of course, this has created some controversy in the security community, whether this is a good thing or not. I don't know what you think about it, but let us know in the comments below. There's also a report that's been commissioned this week by Microsoft that says that Zero Trust does actually bring security improvements. So in this report, it says that there's a 50% lower chance of breach for organizations that have already implemented Zero Trust, and there's a 50% improvement on the efficiency of implementing security processes. And while we're on the subject of zero trust, Azure AD Continuous Access Evaluation is now generally available. So what happened before was that if you applied a particular policy to a user or a group of users, if that policy changed, it would only apply to those users once the security token for each user had refreshed. And obviously that takes a certain amount of time. Now, reducing the time for security token refresh tends to negatively affect user experience. So Microsoft has implemented a system here where applications like Exchange, for instance, can continuously communicate with Azure AD, so that if any changes are made by an administrator to an Azure AD policy, it can be applied much faster to the end user, so that we don't have to wait for them to either log out or log back in again, or for their existing security token to expire. So please hit the like button if you thought this video was useful, and it will really help us have this video seen by more people on YouTube. And that's it for now, and I'll see you next week.